Yeah, we made it.
We made it.
I'm so excited. We made it.
We did it.
Mm-hmm.
Joe did most of it, but we did it.
You did half, at least. Probably more than half.
I did some processing, but you did all the setup, and my wife set up all of the cool
that was that
beauty around me.
Yeah.
She's good.
That was
at
incredible setup. I was like, man, now I feel all like depleted with my mushroom forest. I might have to come up with something cooler now.
Your mushroom forest is so good. For so many years I was behind, man.
No, but you had the natural look and stuff. Like if I did that, it wouldn't look very cool because it's just like this big empty space behind me, right? Like, yeah.
Oh wow, Minnesota's finally returned to normal temp of 50 degrees Fahrenheit. That sounds cold.
It's lovely. That is lovely temperature. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
That's one of my favorites. Between 50 and 60. You get up above 65 and it starts getting a little bit hot, you know, like.
Yeah.
You can think whatever you want. My opinion is
your
correct.
opinion can be of that. I'm not gonna like say your opinion is wrong. I'm just gonna say I don't have that opinion.
Yes,
not even close.
We don't share that same opinion.
It doesn't get hot until it's like 80 something. Then it's hot.
It's hot.
Any temperature before 80, including 80 itself, is like comfortable until it reaches like 70. Then it gets cold. 70's kind of cold.
70's hot.
70's cold to me.
Isn't
that funny?
Yes.
I know that I'm the weirdo here. I know that I'm weird.
Right.
Yeah. 70.
I mean, okay, I will say that 70's on the cooler end of hot.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I mean, that's true. If you think it's on the end of hot, I don't know. I don't think it's hot. I think it's like almost warm.
Cold is anything in the single digits Fahrenheit. That's cold.
That's crazy, man. One of the things that's kind of weird about that is like, how warm is your body?
How warm is my body?
It's like, yeah, it's like 98 degrees or something.
It's the hotness.
Right? Yeah, it is the hotness. If your body's like 98 degrees, then why does it feel cold to you or why does it feel warm when it's like 70? You think that you'd be like, nah, now I don't have to work as hard to keep my body hot.
Yeah, if it's like 98.6 degrees outside, that feels hot.
Yeah, it does.
Mm-hmm.
I think that makes sense though, because your body is going to be naturally moving and creating and heat in your body. Because you don't want to turn your body off and just sit there, because then you'll die. Yeah, don't have to work hard to be hot. That's right.
It's true. Truth. Truth. Live. Joe is fire.
It was fire. Fire.
That's why I have no hair. It burned off.
Oh man.
I burn it off all the time with my rage.
It's a smoking hat. Wow. Wow, that's awesome. That's some good Joe lore right there.
Joe lore. Yes, my hair catches fire and burns off on the daily.
Every day. You can see small little flames being put out.
Except for when it's big.
Oh, I should hang out around you. I love the smell of like when you blow a candle out.
I was
going to say, one of my most favorite smells in the whole world.
Do you love the smell of burning hair? Because that's its own smell. That's quite
unique.
Yeah,
that smells not good. I forgot about that. Okay, maybe I don't want to be around you.
Like, I can remember like when I had long hair and I'd lean like over a candle to blow it out or something, and it'd be like, whoop, and it'd be like, ah! And yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Bad news.
I've had pretty good luck with that. I haven't burned my hair yet, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive.
There have been many cases where I'm like, oh wow, I should be more careful.
You've had long hair for a really long time.
Oh yeah.
Like as long as I've known you.
That's true. Yeah.
It hasn't been quite that long the whole time, but it has been longer than average.
Yeah. Yeah. So hey guys, welcome to Don't Worry Wednesday.
Yeah, welcome.
This is the show where we talk about apparently random things, and then also talk about whatever topics are on your guys' mind. We have this awesome show where we can talk about problems and things that make us suffer, or just issues that are going on in our life or lives, and share it with each other, share it with the community, and just bring it on the table and see what happens with it. A lot of times we kind of know how to solve our own problems, but a little bit of encouragement can go a long way, or a little bit of perspective. So we're really great that we're really glad we get to have this show. This is one of our favorite parts of the week, just to be here with you guys and hash stuff out. And it's cool because it doesn't just help you guys, but it also helps us. Because I think it helps all of us. We all need a refresher on wisdom every once in a while. I think maybe every week. That's why we do this show.
At least
every week.
Or at least every day.
At least every day, if not more than every day.
I gain new wisdom every day usually through messing something up and learning that I messed it up.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, so we aren't professional psychologists, psychiatrists, or anything along those lines, but we can offer you our words, encouragement, and knowledge that we've gained over the years. And we hope that it can be helpful, regardless of if you want to sue us or not. So, with the legal disclaimer out of the way, we can feel free to jump into the show. Thank you guys so much for being here. I hope you guys are all doing awesome. How are you guys? Rather than just saying, I hope you're awesome, let me actually ask, how are you guys doing? Sister Frisk, I see you in the chat. You're awesome. It's so great to have you here with us. You started joining, I think, more often recently. And so it's really nice to see you coming back to Don't Worry Wednesday. You're always such a lovely person. August, hey, you're awesome too. It's great to have you here. You've been with us a long time. And you're always really kind and very, very nice and helpful. Outcats, what's up? You're hilarious and fun to be around, and also very kind. Baka, I'm not going to say anything about you.
What? Baka's awesome.
I know Baka's awesome, but he's too awesome. What words can express his awesomeness? I can't. It's ineffable. It's ineffable. Baka's so awesome, it's ineffable. So I'm just not gonna say anything about him. Jo is here. Oh, that's awesome. Jo, you rock, man. I wish we were able to hang out more. Always nice to be around.
I missed my computer before too. I will learn to aim better, and then I will not miss it.
Yeah. Well, every time I use the mouse, if it's on a weird setting, I miss my computer a lot. Wait, you checking your mouse at the computer screen?
Never.
Oh, wow. That sounds like you've done it.
Hey, I play first-person shooters, and sometimes you end up on a really interesting team. But you know what? To be honest, I have never done anything destructive to my computer in response to that.
Mm-hmm. What about 2 other objects?
Like not really. Not really. I've never had rage over a game. It's interesting, like because I remember doing this coaching session with a top 500 Overwatch player, and he had me get into a match, and I was just getting smoked, right? I'm just like, oh man, and he's like, you're really not getting frustrated, like you're really keeping it calm, and I'm like in the midst of like my divorce and everything. I'm like, dude, this is just a game, man. like man, like all this stuff swirling around me right now, this is just a game. Yep. How you doing, Ryan?
That's it's kind of funny. I'm doing great, by the way. That's kind of funny because some people might rage, and then when they're trying to justify their rage to someone, they'd be like, "Well, I got all this stuff going on in life, in the middle of a divorce, blah 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 blah. So I snap easy." And instead, you're just like, "This is a game. Why would I snap over it?"
Right.
There's so much more going on.
Yeah, this is like my downtime. Like this is just whatever. Hey, I've gotten good at running from the spawn to the point and then dying, and then running from the spawn to the point and then dying, and then running from the spawn to the point and then dying.
That's a pretty good tactic.
It's like taking a walk every 5 seconds,
Yeah, it's like cool down period, just like go take a walk, man. Just do it again. Just over and over.
Whatever, yep. Somebody snipes me. Oh, I get to walk from there to there again. There and back again.
That's right. Well, at least as Lucio, it's fun to walk because you can walk on the walls.
It is, yes. He's absolutely super fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes, you are right.
So, yeah, that's great. Well, yeah, I mean, I've never raged over a video game either. It always surprised me when people did. Because I remember growing up, there were a couple people who did. And I know people who broke their controllers by like throwing it on the ground, or broke their TVs by throwing a controller into it, or knocking it over or whatever. And I'm just like, I don't understand that reaction. Why did you do that? Yeah, very strange.
Yeah. Hey.
But hey,
you're
all
like
different.
You're like the most laid back of the personality types, though. So like
that's true.
So yeah.
Yeah, someone would punch me in the face, and I'd just be like, "Hey, okay, talk to me about it."
Are you feeling
what just
anything?
Happened? Why?
Excuse me, sir. Why did you just punch me in the face? Let's have a discussion about this.
Yeah,
sir.
I'll be that guy. I can't believe you've just done this.
Yes. Life is stressful sometimes. Yes, much of the time.
Much of the time. Yeah, that's fair. That's why we're here on Don't Worry Wednesday. And let's go. Perfect segue. Let's get into it, huh?
Let's do. I do have to say, though, I'm pretty excited.
Yeah?
Yeah.
How come?
Tomorrow's the day, man. You're going to miss it, though. I feel bad you're going to miss it.
Tomorrow's the day.
Tomorrow's the BSS field trip.
Oh man, did you guys design a field trip?
We decided we're taking a field trip, and it's tomorrow.
Really?
Yep.
I wasn't there last week. Sorry, I was helping out
Well, we
someone
didn't
else.
actually get it all put together till today, but
Oh, fun. Well, you're doing it tomorrow, but you got to figure it out. Well, that's fair.
yeah, we
That
kind of
sounds
had
sounds like
we kind
sounds
of
like
had
us.
a nebulous idea, and then we're like, okay, tomorrow's the
Hmm.
day. Yeah, we're finally gonna go to Sweetwater, and like, it's a reconnaissance mission.
Oh, you're gonna do that? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna like look
Hmm.
at gear for a long time. It's gonna be great.
Hmm.
Mm.
That's great. Yeah, you guys have been planning that out a
Well,
couple weeks now.
we've wanted to, and we've been talking about it, and it's like, I don't know, like, and then everybody's schedules and blah blah blah, and it's just like, ugh. But yeah, finally, a group of us are getting together. But we're getting up early in the morning. Like, I don't know if you could handle it.
Oh,
Actually,
wow.
you would have just stayed up. You'd have been fine.
Okay.
What is
Okay,
Sweetwater?
Sweetwater. Sounds as much as that sounds like a water park, it is not. It's a candy shop. That is
Kind
not
of,
true.
yeah. Well, they
It
send you candy with every order, which is hilarious.
yeah,
It's
it's
always
hilarious. It's
disgusting
actually a
candy.
music shop.
Go
It's
fight
a
their
music
manager. I will fight their manager. Why
it's a
didn't?
music gear shop. They sell
Mm-hmm.
every kind of music gear you could imagine
Mm-hmm.
ever, and from just plenty of different kinds of instruments to s- hardware for your computer, everything
They have
having
recording
to do with
studios
music.
there. Apparently, they have all kinds of stuff.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
cool. I didn't know they had recording studios there. That's cool.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, every time you order anything from them, they send candy with it, which is
Mm-hmm.
pretty great.
It's this,
So weird.
but it's the candy's always
It's
gross.
it's always like the cheapest candy you
It
could
is.
possibly buy and
I
never
was
would buy
just
it
like,
for
I get
yourself.
this candy in a bag every order that I get, and I'm just like, chuck it, like,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm like, what is this? I wouldn't even give this to my kids. And then my kids were like, and then I told my kids about it when they were over like a couple weeks ago because I got a stick order. We ordered a bunch of drumsticks, right? Because I needed the
Mm-hmm.
BSS stick budget needed to be tendered, and so like, so I got this box full of drumsticks, and I was like, sweet. And my kids came over and they were like, "Oh, nice!" And we opened the box, and because I got it the same day they came over, and I was like, "Oh!" And they always send this candy. They're like, "Candy." I'm like, yeah, candy. And I handed it to them. They're like, it's not anything good in here. Like, there's like,
Even it didn't even meet a child's
there's like
standard.
banana flavored Tootsie Roll and like a,
I like those.
what?
Mm-hmm. I like all the candy.
We
Uh-oh.
disconnected. Looks like we're reconnecting. Hey, are we back?
Are we back? I've been told to stream. Okay, stream's back. Great. Thank you. Thank
Hey,
you.
yes.
Okay. Um, Death by Banana Tootsie Roll. That's right. Well, yeah,
Who would do
don't
that?
talk bad about the Banana Tootsie Roll. They'll take us offline, man. They'll take us
Oh,
right
that's what
offline.
happened. Oh, I was
Mm-hmm.
bad. Oh, I'm sorry, Tootsie Roll of America.
There you go. You don't know how much they own the
They own.
internet, but they own the internet.
They own the whole thing, along with Al
Mm,
Gore, who invented it, right?
yeah. Yep.
Which
Al Gore
that's
sold
kind of a
it to
lie.
the Tootsie Roll Company of
Oh,
America.
he did.
And
I gotcha. That's
hmm
gotcha. It's all America. Dang Americans. Ugh.
yeah, yeah. If only it had been Germany instead.
It would have
Then
been
we
way
could read
better.
everything and yeah, it would have been way better because then we could read every text that happens online in a German accent instead. It'd be great.
Hmm.
And all you guys, all your messages would sound German to me. Tootsie Roll's own Al Gore. Yeah, I think so.
They should. I mean, he looks like
They
he's
own his
eaten.
dead
He
body.
looks like he's eaten enough of them. Oh wait, he's dead.
Is
Did he
he? Is
die?
he not
I don't
dead?
know. I don't know.
I
I
don't
guess
know.
I'm
I
not up
assumed he
on
was
current
dead.
events.
I assumed he was maybe he's alive. I assumed he was
I
dead.
don't
I'm like the
know.
dude's old.
Somebody Google it. Is Al Gore still alive?
Is Al Gore still alive? We don't know. We're an American. We are Americans, so don't expect us to know these things. Shh, Ryan, they haven't found out yet. Don't blow my cover.
All
That's
right.
great.
Thank you, Nyansa. He's alive. All right, good.
Okay. You laugh.
He
All
he
right. Well,
wasn't
good.
dead.
Well,
All
good on
right.
him. Great job.
Good
He's.
job. You've
I'm so sorry, Al
survived.
Gore. I'm happy you're with us. You're
He's
still
in the
alive.
chat. Welcome, Al
Oh
Gore, to
man.
the chat. Welcome, Al
Thanks
Gore.
for making the internet, and thanks for all the other things you did.
Oh my. All
It's
right,
kind
all
of funny. We don't
right.
know anything about Al Gore other than he created the internet, or rather that he didn't create the internet.
But he said he did.
I think if I remember correctly, he didn't actually say he did.
Somebody said he
It was
said he
like a
did.
misquote from him.
Oh, I
Yeah.
gotcha.
People misquote him thinking that he said that, but he never actually said it.
Nobody has ever misquoted a politician, ever.
Oh, yeah, well, that's a good point. Yeah, Elgar did not create it. Yeah.
You're absolutely right. He did
Well,
not.
okay. Let's get into it. We've been chatting for like 30 minutes
We
almost now, and that's way too long. I'm so sorry, everybody. Although I think we've all been having fun.
You're the host,
Hey, man,
man.
Cleos, welcome. Yeah, well, it's my fault. Don't
Whoever
blame it on me.
whoever your guest is, you got to keep him in order. I mean, he went off on a Sweetwater tangent and everything. Like, man, I tell you. Ugh.
Yeah. Well, at least our internet didn't cut out while we were doing a topic.
That's
So that's good.
very true. That's very true. We had to do that in order to get the internet hiccup out of the way, and then
we were waiting the whole time. We were just trying to exercise that hiccup out. Is that the right word? Exercise? Exert? Whatever the word is.
Whatever.
Express. Yeah, express the hiccup. Maybe. What do you do for a burp? Do you express it or do you
burp it? I don't know. Like, it's kind of like the game Bop It,
except
it's burp it.
Exercise. That's the right word. Okay, thank you.
Exercise the burp. Yo.
Get a priest in here. We need to exercise this burp out of me. All right. Okay, so we're gonna do some topics here.
Yeah.
So let's see. I'm gonna look at who wants to be present. I don't think Wolfie is in the chat. Wolfrix rather. Neither is Yozua. But we do have okay, cool. Why don't we start with strawberry paste? This is titled "Changing Yourself versus Faking It."
Okay.
I think this is a great topic to start with.
Okay. I'll get it up here on the screen.
Awesome.
And then you can read it. What do you think?
I will.
Is that a good idea?
Mm-hmm.
All right. It's there now.
A really great idea.
It is a good idea.
All right.
I'm glad I thought of it.
Thanks for thinking.
You're welcome.
Start using that noggin of yours.
Man.
All right.
Whew.
So this is from Strawberry Paste. It's titled "Changing Yourself versus Faking It," and it reads as follows. I've listened to the song Copycat by Circus P many times over the years. It's not a new song. It's about trying to transform yourself to make a relationship work and losing who you are and why you want to be in said relationship in the first place. I can relate, as I did this a couple of times. Here's the question then. What is the difference between changing yourself to be better, as described above, and faking it till you make it? What is described in Copycat, trying to make yourself become who you think is needed for a relationship to continue to develop, which tends to be a bad thing, and faking it till you make it, to change yourself into what you want to be? Fake it till you make it has been described as a good thing, or at least it can be a good thing, and was even suggested to me personally by a professional therapist. Both of these seem like the same thing, but one is called good and the other turns out to be very bad. Hopefully I described it well enough. I won't be there to expound on it when you cover it. Thank you, you're awesome.
You're awesome.
Strawberry Paste.
You're awesome, Strawberry Paste, and thank you for the topic.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Yeah, you are awesome, Strawberry. You always have such interesting topics, and and thank you so much for continuing to join us on this show so often. We really appreciate that. A great topic. So this is an interesting one. I think there's definitely a lot to cover here. And one thing I think of right away is, the fake it till you make it is definitely a phrase that can mean multiple things. Um, and it can have varying results. And I don't think fake it till you make it is a virtue. Either.
I think
right?
that
I don't think either of
too.
these.
I agree.
Yeah, I don't think either of these things are virtues, and I think they both have flaws, but they're very different flaws. But fake it till you make it can be good, just like you said, such that if you're not something yet, like maybe you're not, maybe you wanted to be a musician, you're not a musician yet, but if you fake it, like you are a musician, in other words, practice, act it out, live it out, live the experience out. You're going to get better over time as you live that experience out. And you might be faking it such that you're saying like, oh yeah, I'm a musician, blah, blah, blah. Eventually you'll become one, right? But I think there are other ways where you can do the same thing, but you don't have to fake it. For example, like you can say, "Oh yeah, I'm not a musician yet, but I'm still in practice. I'm still trying. I'm gonna get out there and I'm gonna do the show. I'm gonna do whatever I need to do, but I'm gonna learn along the way." And you don't have to lie to anybody, right? But is that faking it? I don't know. It's a matter of perspective. Is that faking it? I don't think it's faking it. I think it's just trying. You know. There's another end of faking it, which is like a different kind of meaning, which is like when you're in a scenario and like you're in a scenario where you're going to pretend that you're good at something so that other people will like you. Part of faking it till you make it is an ego boost. Fake it till you make it is what you do to make yourself have a higher self-esteem. When you do something, you look like you are the boss when you're doing it. You look like you know what you're doing, right? Even though you have no idea, right? That's fake it till you make it. That's literally like going in there. You have no idea what you're supposed to be doing, but you're acting like it, right? And so you act like you have a high self-esteem. That's fake it till you make it. And that has good things and bad things with it, right? I think a lot of that is obvious, right? Like, to act like you have confidence, that's a good thing. It is. It helps you be more assertive in your actions and get more things done, even if you're messing things up. It puts you out into the playing field and doesn't make you so shy that you're not participating, right? But it also implies that you're living a lie, that you're not being honest, right? And you can have confidence even if you're not faking it. But yeah, I don't know. There's a lot to cover here, and obviously on the other half of that, changing yourself to be someone who's more acceptable to someone else, yeah, that's definitely not a good thing. I mean, it can be a good thing. It can be a good thing. Maybe we'll cover that, but I mean, we are born into this world operating out of those means because we're children, we're babies, and the only thing we can understand is I did this behavior and it got punished. I did this behavior and it got rewarded. We're trained to sort of change ourselves to fit our environment. But there comes a point where we have to stop doing that. And there comes a point where that's not a healthy thing and it's a very bad thing for us. And discerning that is really important. So that's why I love that you asked this question. And so I think a lot of this topic is going to be about discernment and how to discern what is good and what is bad in each. So I'm going to get out of the way, talk plenty, and I'm excited to see what Joe has to say about this topic. Because I know
I'm
that
not.
he's definitely gone through multiple stages of most of these things. So.
And I'm the mean one. So we're gonna see how this goes. I'll probably be nice. You know, I'm in a pretty good mood today. I already had my rage for the day. We'll
Nice.
find out how this goes.
Break
But
control
yeah,
there.
I don't like any of this. I'll just be honest. I don't like fake it till you make it. I don't like that connotation. I've heard that many times from professional development people. I don't like that idea because here's the thing. What it does is it negates the journey. It negates the fact that you're on a journey, that we're all on a journey. Like personal development is partly recognizing where you are, recognizing where you want to go, seeing that there's a gap, and understanding that I need to do things in order to get to that position. Like rather than trying to act like I'm all there already, you know, it's like, no, just understand where I am, and there's information and practice and stuff that I need to do in order to get where I want to go, right? Like Ryan talked about practicing music. I mean, that's a great example of not faking it till you make it, because it's glaringly obvious to the world how good of a musician you are when you perform. Right? You're either good or you're not good, or you're not good yet, or whatever, right? And you're on a journey, and it takes time and effort to get there. You know, I understand the idea of fake it till you make it. It's like, okay, try and get yourself into the headspace of somebody who's successful in that area, right? But every time I've ever done that or seen people do that, it comes off gross, or it's like, you know, it's like,
Well, it makes sense that it comes off gross because it's an
not
ego booster.
genuine.
The whole point of it is, yeah, it's not genuine. It makes someone look egotistical.
Yep. It's not genuine. It's better to just be honest with yourself and honest with the world around you, and, you know, just say, hey, you know what? I'm on a journey here. Because we all are. Even the people who are the most successful that I've ever met have explained, hey, I'm just on a journey here, man. I may be farther along than you right now, but I'm on a journey. And I'm trying to get better. I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to perform at a higher level. I'm trying to reach the next step, whatever that is. Excuse me. Saule, I see what you're saying in the chat. I think I see a difference. Fake it till you make it is more a way to help you let yourself be what you want to be. Changing yourself for a relationship is trying to be what someone wants, trying to be what you think someone else wants. You don't know what they want. If you're in a relationship, they want you. In a relationship, it's more about being who you already are and growing as you do that. Growth can take work, but it should be natural, not forced. Hopefully that makes sense. Yes, it does make sense. Because, yeah, who you are is important. And I've spent time in relationships where I have tried to shape myself into who I thought they wanted me to be, or who they said they wanted me to be, and do the things they said they wanted me to do, and all this kind of stuff. And I would shape my personality to try to be a good fit for that relationship. And what happens, the end result is you lose yourself along the way. You become somebody different. You forget who you are if you're in that situation long enough. And then what you find out is they never really liked you anyway. And I will have one caveat, one little argument to say to you, Saule. In a relationship, they want you, maybe. If they want something other than you and want to change you into what they want, they don't want you. They want something other than you, but they want you to be that something other than you. Sorry. I hope I'm not coming off too strong, but, you know, yes, that becomes a toxic relationship. Absolutely it does. And we can have a toxic relationship with ourselves if we're faking it till we make it, because the whole idea of fake it till you make it is like, okay, I'm going to be the thing that I'm not yet until I become the thing that I want to be, right? But all that does is reek of dishonesty and non-genuineness. I was talking to my therapist about this just the other day. She's not actually my therapist anymore. She's my coach. And she gave me this big book. I have it sitting right here. Excuse me. High performance habits. Because I'm learning. This is like fake it till you make it time, right? It's like super thick, right? And it's got like really tiny font. Can't even see it on the screen. It's so small. But it's like...
Nah, the book is actually just empty.
It's
high performance. Yes, you read it. Wow, I was very performative. Super high. I read a whole book, 400 pages.
What imposter syndrome, Kawhi, helps to overcome imposter syndrome? I'm not familiar with imposter syndrome. Maybe if you want to explain that in the chat, or maybe Ryan knows what it is, then that could be helpful.
Free to explain in the chat. I would do it in injustice. Okay. I know what it is, but yeah, they could probably do a better job.
All right. But here's the thing. One of the best things that I've learned to do is that it's like, okay, I need to admit that where I want to be, I'm not the person that can be where I want to be yet. I need to become that person. And so then the question is, how do I become that person? And there's things to learn. There's actions I need to take. There's usually stuff that I need to study in order to understand. Oh man, here we are disconnecting, reconnecting again. Look at us go. We disconnected, reconnected, blah, blah, blah. Dang OBS and internets and stuff. I even restarted my computer. Weird.
Weird.
Yeah. But anyway, because I spent a long time in a relationship where I was supposed to be something that I wasn't, and actually like growing up my whole life, I was kind of taught to be something I'm not, right? They're like, you can't, being a musician isn't legitimate. You need to be something other than that. You can do that as a hobby or whatever, but that's not a legit career, da, 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 da. And so it's like, well, so I spent this whole time trying to fake who I was. And so I hate that. I hate the idea of that I have to be fake in order to do something of value, because really what it ought to be is like, okay, look, I'm here. I am me. And we're all on a journey of trying to figure out all this stuff about ourselves. And I think that's a lifelong journey. We don't know everything about ourselves. This is stuff we have to learn on an ongoing basis. And I'm learning new stuff about myself all the time, how my heart works, how my mind works, how all these different things about how I best operate, what times of day do I operate best in these different areas, all this stuff. And, so there's learning that takes place. So we have to be able to pay attention to ourselves to see what it is we need to do in order to grow. And if we're busy being fake, we might miss the lessons. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true.
So in my mind, I'm more about being genuine now than being fake until I somehow magically become the thing I would like to become. Right? There's a big difference. It's like, okay, there's an old saying, I think it's a Stoic saying that's like, know thyself. So know who you are. Know what you're about. Know where you're at. So then you have a spot, you have a starting point in order to get where you want to go. So, honestly, strawberry paste, the difference there, I think Saule said it best, that the difference of changing yourself to be acceptable to another person, in a relationship, that's really a not good road to go down. Because eventually what's going to happen is you're going to end up becoming something you're not. You're going to end up internally battling with yourself. It's like, this isn't me. And like, as you start to eventually you're going to get tired of fighting yourself, and you're going to be like, this is wrong, and it's going to create all kinds of issues, and then you're going to have to go back and backtrack for years maybe and figure out what things make you tick. You're going to have to, there's a whole bunch of relearning that has to take place, and it's all because you were trying to satisfy another person, and that's wrong. And the faking it till you make it, who are you trying to impress? You trying to impress yourself? You try to impress your family, your friends, your whoever? You're like, if you really want to impress yourself, then recognize who you are, recognize where you are, and then figure out the path you need to take in order to get where you want to go, and take those steps. Then you will be very impressed with yourself, and you will be impressive to other people because they will see real, genuine growth. It won't be a fake thing. It's about being who you are, being willing to grow, understanding, look, none of us have all this figured out. We're all learning, and that's okay. And where you're at is okay. But it's just a starting point. You can go anywhere you want to go. You can go anywhere you feel led to go. It just takes learning and applying that knowledge. So anyway, that's my rant. Did we see anything about what imposter syndrome is? Oh, J-Ho says, so imposter syndrome is a behavioral health phenomenon described as self-doubt of intellect, skills, or accomplishments among high-achieving individuals. Okay, so, all right. And then Miang Leo says, in my opinion, there's a space for fake it till you make it. Band, for example, in rehearsal, don't fake it. Show your mistakes because that's the place to get better. In a performance, if you don't know your stuff, that would probably be a good time to fake it till you make it. Well, honestly, you just do the best you can, right? I mean, I've been in plenty of performances where I've just done my best and it's fallen apart and like a crazy thing, right? But most of the time, I'm not going to hide my ability to perform, musically if I'm in a performance situation and I haven't practiced. I will always feel best if I do the work rather than trying to fake it, but it's about doing the work. And if I'm not ready at the time of the performance, it's going to show. There's no faking it, especially if it's a solo, right? But anyway, I don't know. That's my spiel. I'm going to turn it over to Ryan and see what he has to say. So, Ryan, it's all yours, buddy.
Yeah, I've got a lot of different things to say about this. The first thing I want to say is this. Ask your therapist what exactly they meant by fake it till they make it. Ask them to define it with examples so that you know exactly what it is which version of fake it till you make it they were using, and in which circumstances fake it till you make it is applicable. I think that would be smart because there are many different ways one could understand the terms fake it till you make it. And it's worthwhile if it was suggested to you by your therapist to utilize this idea, then I would pry into your therapist to ask them what they mean and to give examples so that you don't overstretch the idea into a place that puts you in a bad position. In an unhealthy position.
I just don't like anything called fake. I don't like anything where somebody's trying to tell me to be fake. Right?
Yeah. And I think there's a version of fake it till you make it that's not fake. I'm going to give you an example. There was a time I had a friend who asked me to come to a party with him. And it wasn't like a party, it was just a bonfire, really. So I should rephrase that. I had a friend who asked me to come to a bonfire with him, and there was going to be a bunch of people there I didn't know. And so I'm driving on the way there. I'm like, this is going to be super awkward. I don't know anybody there, and I barely know the person I'm going to the bonfire with. I just didn't know how to say no, so I said yes, and
Mm-hmm.
so I'm going. And now I'm driving there. What the heck am I gonna do? Because this is gonna be super awkward. I'm just gonna be sitting alone the whole time, or maybe sitting next to that friend. Maybe. I have no idea what I'm gonna do. And then I thought, actually, I don't have to be in that position because one, I do know how to communicate with people. I do have a good personality and I can jive with other people's personalities most of the time. But this was sort of during the time where I was still developing my people skills. And so I didn't have super great people skills yet. So I didn't use the terms fake it till you make it, but I used the concept and it was this. I was like, okay, I'm going to show up there. I'm going to get out of my car. I'm going to walk up to that bonfire and I'm going to act as though all of them are already my friend,
Mm.
that I know them. And I'm just going to be like, hey, what's up, man? Hey, how's it going? How you doing? Like, what's been happening? What have you guys been up to? I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be friendly with them as if it's not the first time meeting them.
Mm.
Was I faking anything? I was pretending that I knew them so that my confidence level would be high enough to meet the scenario.
Mm.
But I wasn't actually faking my dialogues. Everything I said was genuine. Everything I told them was genuine. Everything we communicated with each other was genuine. And we hit it off. Like, I met this dude there and we hit it off so well. Like, we were just back and forth. The conversations were so good. They were sometimes just really funny and witty, and then other times very deep and profound. And just this, it was a great bonding experience. And it would never happened if, like, literally, I drove up in my car and I sat in my car for like 30 seconds, pumped myself up and said, all right, let's do this. And so, I walked out there and performed. I performed like the idea of fake it till you make it,
Mm.
right? I walked out there and I performed. I put on a show. But was that fake? No, everything I did was real. Everything I did was actually happening in real time. And I wasn't pretending to be someone I wasn't. I was just putting my confidence level at a place that it didn't belong to
Mm.
be, according to my head. Now, whether it actually belonged there or not, that's of course, there's no reason I should have been um, at a low confidence level in the first place. Just because I don't know someone doesn't mean that I have to have low confidence with them, right? But I had m- so many years of experience of being bullied in school and so on and so forth, just bad with people, that my communication skills still needed work and my confidence in those skills was still low.
Mm.
But the truth is, when I operate out of the idea that I can do it well, I usually do better. But if I operate under the notion, like, and this applies to anything, this applies to singing, right? If I sing with inconfidence, my throat it doesn't have the full capacity to move fluidly and feel like it can hit everything and do everything it needs to do. But if I sing with confidence, if I sing as though I know I can do it, I do sing better. In fact, one of the reasons people, one of two, there's two reasons. One of the reasons people think that they can sing better when they're drunk is because they can sing better when they're drunk sometimes.
So, yes.
Sometimes. Because then they stop being so self-conscious
Mm-hmm.
that they allow themselves to actually sing.
Mm-hmm.
Because your self-consciousness gets in the way. And so with the idea of fake it till you make it, it could mean, yeah, liquid courage. Thanks, Jay. Fake it till you make it can embody this concept of stop being so self-conscious
Mm.
that you are putting yourself down before you even perform the act.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you aren't good at it yet doesn't mean you should beat yourself up before you even do it. And so fake it till you make it brings it, what it does is it takes that self-consciousness that says, well, I've never done this before, so I can't do it, and just shuts it up and makes you go out there and perform without that part dragging you down, right? And so that's the part, that's the nugget out of fake it till you make it that I would say that's applicable. That is something you should take and use in your life.
Mm.
Don't let your self-consciousness, your awareness of your awareness of self, your awareness of your ability and that it lacks in skill, those awarenesses, don't let those awarenesses reduce you to a point where they affect your performance, whether it be a performance in literally just doing a test on a piece of paper,
Mm-hmm.
writing a story, a performance of screwing in a light bulb, a performance of going on stage and performing a show, whatever it is, any kind of performance, any kind of action, you know. So I think that's some wisdom there to take out of fake it till you make it. But of course, I agree with Joe on everything he said because I don't like anything that's going to be fake,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I think to be real with oneself and say, okay, yeah, I'm not there yet, and I'm going to pay attention to where I can grow. But at the same time, also say, I'm not going to let my inadequacies stop me from even trying
Mm-hmm. Yes.
or hinder my attempts. I'm not going to be like, well, I don't really know what I'm like. It's like I'm going to play Super Mario for the Super Nintendo system. And it's like, well, I don't really know how to play the game. So I'm just going to like play it like really slow and cautious. Right. And sure, you can do that. Or you can just hold the right button down and make your character walk and jump because that's all the game does is you walk and jump and you walk and you jump and then you walk and you jump.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, you can play that game with this idea of like, oh, I'm not very good at it, and it will mess you up. It will mess you up because you're so afraid of messing up.
Mm-hmm.
Because it stops you from actually being able to be fully in the game. You can't be conscious and fully in the game if you're also constantly berating yourself with, oh, I'm not very good at this. I don't know how to do this. I don't know how to perform this jump. I don't know, blah, 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 blah. It's like, but if you're adventurous, you're like, I don't know, and I'm going to try it.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to see what happens.
All right.
If you're adventurous and you're playing Super Mario Brothers, you're going forward and you're like, all right, all right, all right. I see two enemies here, and they're a certain distance. I'm gonna see if I can jump on one and like have that jump, like that bounce effect, cause me to land on the other one. So I like jump on two at one time. This is gonna be so cool. But if you are really self-conscious, you're gonna look at that scenario and be like, oh no 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 no, I'm gonna walk away. I don't. Okay, hold on. Let's see. Is there a way to get around these enemies without jump? Okay, okay. I'll try to do like one of them. And it stops and impedes on your performance because you're not willing to make those mistakes
Mm-hmm.
because you're so self-conscious.
Right.
So, anyways, I've I've beat the dead horse at this point. You get the idea. So don't be fake. Be real. Be honest with reality. That's important. That's important. That's like super important. Be realistic. Be honest with reality. But be adventurous. Be bold. Be brave enough to attempt and learn from it
Mm-hmm.
rather than so self-conscious that you're not even willing to attempt, or when you do attempt and you fail you don't learn anything because it's just proof that you're not good. That's all you
Mm-hmm.
say to yourself. You don't go and you assess it and go, how can I do better, because your mind isn't in the right place to do that. So fake it till you make it gives you the good thing about it is that it cuts the self-awareness out of the equation, and that's good. But you
So
do want to be
the
realistic.
self-consciousness.
Yeah, so yeah, self-awareness is yeah, thank you. Self-consciousness in terms of negativity
Right.
and that you're not good enough.
Because being
That kind of thing. That's
self-aware
not what
is a good thing. Being aware of,
Mhm.
who you are and all that kind of stuff is
Absolutely
great.
true.
But the self-consciousness involved, right? Like what you're describing. That's a very
Mhm.
productive way of looking at it. Yeah, I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't mean to interrupt you.
No, no, thank you. Thank you for correcting that, because when I said it, I was like, I should put that with a caveat, but you described it perfectly. Yeah. Self-awareness versus self-consciousness. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it doesn't cut self-awareness out. In fact, it just makes you aware of yourself in a different way that isn't so negative.
Mm-hmm.
So if your therapist is recommending you to fake it till you make it, what they might be recommending instead, not like they should say this instead, but what they might be trying to say is that you need to make an attempt at cutting self-consciousness out of the equation when you
Mm-hmm.
make actions
Mm-hmm.
so that you can be adventurous and experience wonder and learn from your failures rather than be so caught up in your failures that you're unable to learn. Um, Sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. I don't know. That's why I said, ask your therapist what they mean, to define it, give examples, and to kind of go deep into it themselves. Because um, I'm sure there's a good reason, and whatever they're trying to drive you towards is important to know. So
Mm-hmm.
you have a goal to go towards, rather than being in a position where you're like, they think they described it to you perfectly, but in reality, you don't know exactly what they mean. So, um, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
well, of course, obviously that happens in every relationship, and that's why
Mm-hmm.
we need to
Sure.
get a little bit more information sometimes. It's not like I'm not doubting your therapist, like, oh yeah, they don't know what they mean. I think they do know what they mean, and they're looking for something very specific, but
Right.
they didn't describe it to you a way that you completely understand, nor do I completely understand. So, so I think it's worth digging into
Mm-hmm.
with them. And as far as Saule said this very well, and Joe already read it out loud. But when you are when you are changing yourself, this is important. Um, it's important to try to be better. It's important to try to improve. It's important to try to become a better person,
Mm-hmm.
the best that you can. Absolutely. It's important to try to be the best person you can be. Like that's because that's when you flourish the most. That's when you have the most to offer to the world. That's when you have the most, like, you would hope you'd have the most joy. At least it's what gives you the it sets you down the path for experiencing that joy. It sets you down the path, being the best version of yourself is what's going to drive you down those paths that lead ultimately to more joyful things or more productive things or whatever it is, right? And so we want to be that. And it does involve changing who you are. Because who you
Mm-hmm.
are right now is, and that's okay, not going to be the best version of you. So here's the thing. When we change to become better for another person, there's good in that, in the sense that I'm gonna give two examples. One's religious. Some of us change to be better people because of our relationship with God. And we have a non-religious example. Some of us change to be better people, to be better for our family,
Mm-hmm.
or for our spouse, or for our children, or for our friends, right? Those kinds of relationships. And it's not a bad thing to do that.
Mm-mm.
The bad thing happens when you willingly get yourself into a scenario, or unwillingly get yourself into a scenario where who you are right now, is unacceptable to a person. And in order to become acceptable to that person, you decide you will do anything,
Mm-hmm.
including changing yourself.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's not good, because one of the main problems of that is you are never going to be acceptable to that person no matter how much you change.
That's absolutely true.
They're just going to utilize that as a tool to make you do things for them.
Mm-hmm.
They think they're basically people like that. They exist in the world, and I'm not. They have a condition, and I'm not trying to make them an enemy. But I have pity on these people. But because it's not their fault that they are this way, they just are this way, and I hope that they learn if they can.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing: if you get into a relationship where you are unacceptable unless you blah blah blah. So in a normal romantic situation, that could be anything, but it might be something like um they don't like that you don't take the garbage out every Wednesday, and it's like that's your job, right? And so when you fail, they berate you and they hate on you because, well, you're not being who you're supposed to be. And so your brain tells you, okay, in order for them to be happy, I have to take out the garbage every Wednesday, right? And so you start doing that, and maybe for a time they're going to be like, oh yeah, you're awesome, thanks for doing that. And then you notice it's going to be the next thing. It's like all of a sudden now you're not acceptable as a partner. You're not a very good partner because you don't wash the dishes.
Mm.
And then it's you don't do the laundry. And then it's you don't clean the whole house. And then it's you don't, whatever, everything, right? It's one thing after another. It keeps on adding up. And if you fail on any one of them at any time, there is no forgiveness. There's no, oh, that's
Mhm.
okay. Hey, you slipped up. It's no big deal. It's immediately like, you ruined my day. You're terrible.
Mhm.
It's like when you get into a relationship like that, run. And that can be obviously many different things. There's many different ways that could play out. And I just gave one random example of like as if you were living with a person, which would be weird. But regardless, um, there's thousands of examples I could give. Um, and that might not have been the best one, but it's if you as a person are not attractive and you're only attractive when you're doing what they want you to do, then that's not a good relationship. It's obvious. The bad part is this. The bad part isn't them. The bad part is you. Because you have put it in your mind that you need them. And you need them to be happy in order for you to be happy. That's where the bad part comes in. Is it bad that is it bad that they're those kind of people? Sure. But you don't have control over that. What you do have control over is how much weight you put into desiring the acceptance of others. Just like fake it till you make it, you can use fake it till you make it. You can use that to give you an ego boost so that you impress the people around you. Yeah, but that's not a very good use of that. That's not very good. Similarly, if you're in a relationship where you're not acceptable unless you do everything that they say, sort of stuff, unless you are their ideal person, and you are willing to change to make them happy, what you've done is the same thing as the problem with fake it till you make it. You
Mhm.
have put how you look to other people above actually being a good person, right? What you want to be is a good person. That's why it's important to change and grow.
Mhm.
What you don't want to be is someone who is only a good person because other people will like them better. If that's,
Mm.
you know what I'm saying?
Or they don't
So,
like you unless you
yeah,
fill
they
in the
don't like
blank.
you unless you're a good person or you meet their standards or whatever they are.
Mhm.
So, you want to be the kind of person that wants to be a good person, right? You don't want to be the person that's only good because it makes you look better in society and people treat you better, right? You want to be so good that you're willing to receive punishment and people not liking you because you're that good. That's a better place to be than everyone loving you because you're a specific kind of person.
Mhm.
Because what happens internally in your brain is that one of them, you have control over who you are, and your emotional control, how you feel throughout the day, is dependent upon what you want and what you're thinking in your head, while the other one is entirely dependent upon how other people think of you, and your emotions are going to be like up and down like crazy
Mhm.
because you're always going to be wondering, what's this person think of me? What's that person think of me? Do they
Mhm.
like me? And that is going to be a spiral, because here's the thing. You cannot put your emotions in the hands of other people for them to decide how you feel for that day, because you can't put you don't want to put yourself in that position. One, it's not their responsibility to decide for you how you feel that day.
Mm-hmm.
It is not their responsibility. That's a bad thing to do to people. It's like, hey, it's your responsibility to make me feel good today. Do you like me? Do will you praise me?
Do
It's
you
like,
love me?
that is,
Are you playing
yeah,
your
do you love
love
me?
games with me?
All right, fuzzy little man bitch. You know, you can't do that to people. That's not kind, right? That's not generous. That's not good to do to people. But also, when you put your emotions in the hands of others, not only is it not their responsibility, they're not thinking of you most of the time anyways. They're almost never thinking. They're
Right.
too much thinking about themselves to be thinking about you and saying, how can I make their day? How can I let them know that I really do appreciate them?
Right.
People aren't thinking that generally. So if you're sitting there waiting for that praise, that's self-destruction. So the actual reason that changing yourself to meet the standards of another person, the actual reason that's bad is not just because it creates toxic relationships. The toxic relationship is the natural outcome of this spiral of downward destruction. The actual reason is because you have decided to make them the ones that controls how you feel and how you work in this world and how good you want to be, when that's not their responsibility. And when you're dependent on other people to have a good day, who cares about you enough to make every single day their, like, a point of their life to make sure you have that great day? It's like, unfortunately, a lot of people are too self-absorbed to do that for you.
Hmm.
And it's not their responsibility. So don't put yourself in a position, if you're changing so that you can be more acceptable to other people, that's where things get messed up. But if you're changing so that you can be a better person for what you believe is a better person, then all the power to you. You just don't want to put yourself in a position where you are so where your idea of yourself is determined by how other people see you, when in reality you don't even know how other people see you. You don't. You just make assumptions. And I know this because I was there for a very long period of time in my life. You know, I was like, oh, I assumed everybody hated me
Mm.
because it just seemed like it, you know, and I just assumed everybody didn't like me, and so I acted like that.
Mm.
So I didn't talk to them, or if I did, it was short, you know, and I was standoffish because I thought everyone was out to get me.
Mm.
And that's had nothing to do with how they actually felt about me. I just
Right.
made all that up in my head because, oh, this person acted this way to me one time. And so, oh, I had it made up in my mind forever that that's how they thought about me. And it was like, okay, all they did was pass the ball to someone else and it wasn't you. It's like you're playing a basketball game and they passed the ball to someone and it wasn't you. Oh, that person must hate me. It's like, whoa, you are drawing a conclusion out of nowhere. And you're going to live your whole life thinking that that even matters? It's like, that doesn't matter. How other people think of you, first of all, you don't know how they think of you. And second of all, shouldn't decide. It shouldn't be the pivoting point upon which you make every decision. Right? There's a natural case for that. Here's the thing. When we're babies, all we can do is perceive the world around us and be punished or rewarded for our actions. And that's how we learn. Much like a dog or a raccoon or anything. You can train an animal that way, right? But at some point, we become smart enough that the rewards don't have to don't have to be how we function.
Mm.
We don't have to function in society based on how people will like us one way or the other.
Mm-hmm.
We can actually make it a point to become the best version of ourselves rather than caring at all about how other people think about us. And when we reached that cognitive state, that state of understanding, which is way up here, most of the animal kingdom cannot get there. When we reach that point, that's when we become truly human. That's when we become capable of doing really, really, really great things in the world.
Mm.
Because up until that point, all we're doing is just trying to fit in.
Mm-hmm.
But the people who make the biggest difference in the world aren't those people who are trying to fit in.
Right.
They're the people that get out there. They're usually attacked by other people, but they make the biggest and best difference because they chose to not care about what would make other people happy or accept them. And they said, I don't care what other people will accept. I'm going to do this thing because it is good. I'm going to do this thing because it is good. And it will advance society or it will be awesome, whatever it is, right? And so I think it's a very different route, even though they both involve changing yourself. Or actually, both of fake it till you make it and this other one, and changing to be better for another person. And I suppose just trying to be a better person. All of it's all about change. But what's the reason you're changing? Is it to impress people? Is it to become acceptable? Is it because you're worried about how other people think about you? Is it because you don't like yourself? And you rely on other people to make you happy? Because you don't know how to make yourself happy yourself? Because you don't know yourself well enough yet? Is it because you're looking at yourself and saying, I could be doing better. Watch me. This will be really cool. Is it because you're like, I've got this goal I want to reach and I'm just not good enough yet, but I'm going to be good enough someday and I'm going to be working on that now, right? There's all sorts of reasons you could be trying to change. Why is really important
Mm-hmm.
because it sets the stage for the entire rest of the changing period.
Mm.
How you'll change, whether it'll be for good or for ill, whether it be just a mixed bag, whether it will be toxic or whether it will be purifying. It could be one of those things like happened in my life when I decided, I'm just going to be a better person. I'm going to be more myself in real life.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't create toxicity around me. Instead, it lifted everybody around me up. A lot of people around me started to just be happier, be more performative, be like more active in changing their own lives. And it was weird, but it was like it's like a cultural movement just because I decided that, hey, I'm going to be a better person. And so did they. So my point is, why? Why are you making that change? That's the question. And that's I think the ultimate difference
Mm-hmm.
of what's the root cause for change, That's
Mm-hmm.
that's the main difference and what we're looking into. And that's all I got to say. I'm sorry that took a little while to say it, but and I know I looped quite a few times, but I think it's
You're
important.
good. It
It's
was. It
it,
is
it's an
important.
important question for all of us to ask
Mm-hmm.
and constantly so that we can all move forward in the best way possible.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a
Yep.
really good topic.
Yes. And here's the thing. Like, I see Wolfric's, my why is because I'm really down on myself. Okay. I
Mm-hmm.
understand. And I can understand that somebody might say, well, fake it till you make it. Don't be down on yourself. Be, fake having high self-esteem until you can gain high self-esteem or whatever. Right. I still am a little turned off by the whole fake it till you make it idea
Mm-hmm.
because there's the caveat of being fake, right? There's that whole now, but I get what you're saying, Ryan, about how it's beneficial when you're trying to, like in that social situation you were talking about, where it's like, hey, I'm going to just act like I've known these people for a while just so I can be social, right?
Right. Rather than antisocial. Yeah.
Right, exactly. And what this and that's, hey, that's great. But you were genuine in the exchanges, right? You weren't coming across as somebody that you're not. You weren't being fake, like saying like, oh man, like I got this great career, I got this, car, I got this stuff, I got this whatever. Like when I think fake it till you make it, I think, putting on some kind of front to impress people so they think more highly of you than you actually are, right? When really,
and I've done that too. And
that backfires.
With varied results.
Yeah.
Varied results.
Eventually it backfires. If you keep it up long enough with people, eventually it backfires on you, right?
Oh, yeah.
Or you're trying to live up to this standard you've put on yourself and you just can't do it anymore, right? Or whatever. And so there comes with that. But what I think this takes is just a real and truthful view of human nature and of who we are. If we're down on ourselves, and I had to learn this, I struggled with this. I still, from time to time, struggle with this. And I have to remind myself that is a lie. To be down on myself because of who I am or whatever, right? It's a lie. It's because I am not being honest about the nature of being human. Which, being human, we are priceless. Beyond, well, priceless, right? We're priceless beyond price. Right? And we're valuable, and we're one of a kind and all this kind of stuff, right? And so like of course we all have weaknesses. Of course we all have things that we could get better at. Of course we all have things to learn. That's fine, but it doesn't change the value of who I am as a person. And it doesn't change human nature in the sense that, see, Ryan, you did that in that social event partly because you had a misunderstanding in what human nature is. If I was in that situation, because I was antisocial too, and I wouldn't go talk to people, I wouldn't break the ice, nothing, right? But if I had understood that most people in the world, they are scared to initiate a conversation as well. Most people would like to have a conversation with another person, but they don't know how to start it, or they're scared to start it, or whatever. And so if you can be the person that has the guts to break the ice, you end up with experiences like you were talking about, where you hit it off with somebody and you have this great conversation and you learn a lot about each other. You ask questions and you dig deep and you all this stuff. It's great, right? But none of that's fake. That's being you. And there's a point in that of being genuinely interested in the other person, right? So, and that's based in being genuine, not being fake. If you're being fake, if you're fakely interested in the other person, they're going to sniff that out.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Your body language is going to be all off. It has to be real. And so that's probably what I understand, and Strawberry Pastry Therapist, like I would do exactly what Ryan said and, ask for an explanation of what they mean by fake it till you make it, and make sure that it's just something of like, okay, until I really believe this truth about human nature and about myself, I need to try and, kind of sabotage my system a little bit to get myself to think that way or believe that way.
Yeah, there is some of that you got to do.
Yep. And so sometimes we have to trick ourselves in order to do that, because if we have a deep-seated negative belief about ourselves, then that can take some time to overcome. But it takes a realization of the truth about human nature and about ourselves. So then we can have a real healthy self-esteem and truly understand that, right? And then there's another thing too, and that is that we talk about changing for a romantic relationship. Here's the thing. In a romantic relationship, we should serve our significant other.
For sure.
We should do things for them. We should take an interest in them. We should try to help them. We should not begrudge taking out the garbage or doing the dishes or cleaning the house and stuff like that, we should try and help, right? These are things that we do for each other because we love each other, right? But like Ryan was saying, it's the intention, it's the consequence involved. It's the like, okay, so like if you don't, then I'm going to hate you, or then I'm going to berate you, or then I'm going to be mad at you and give you the silent treatment for a week, or whatever it is, right? Like if that kind of stuff is going on, that's a toxic relationship. And yeah, I did see what is it? Kawhi says just prenup it, and I was like, oh man, like,
Oh man.
if you gotta do a prenup, there's a good chance that might not be the right relationship. You might as well just prenup your way out of it. Like, that's kind of like, hey, I'm gonna get married to you, and we're gonna spend our lives together as long as this, right? And if any of this falls apart, then nobody gets anything. I understand from a legal perspective why that might be important, but honestly, if that's the kind of thing, if those are the kinds of discussions you guys are having, well, unless you do this, then it's all off, and you know, whatever. I would just stop it before it even starts, right?
Oh, the contract.
Yes, follow. Because that's what happens in divorce. You just have to follow the contract. That's what ends up happening. It's a post-nuptial agreement.
Post-nuptial.
Yep. Signed by a judge, right? Like, that's, yeah. But anyway, I don't know. That's about all I had to say. So it's okay to serve your significant other. It's okay, like if you're in a romantic situation, to want to serve them, to want to be able to, you know, do things for them. That's great.
You just want to get the thoughts out of your head that say, will they like me more if I do this?
Yes, exactly.
Your brain should be set on, will they be happier if I do this? Not, will they like me more if I do this?
Right.
Like, that's the stipulation.
Yep. Absolutely.
And if they've got you into the habit of asking that, then you've found yourself in a toxic relationship, or one that's about to become one.
Yep.
And it might not be their fault,
agree.
but usually it's through manipulation that you end up in that position.
Yeah, and hurting people hurt other people, right? Somebody who's been manipulated will manipulate others, you know, and or someone who's experienced that, you know. So there's usually the reason that somebody is that way is because there's stuff that has happened in their past that was really traumatizing and painful and created that in them, right? And so they are also hurting and broken. All of us to some degree, right? We all deal with pain and brokenness, right? For sure. And so there does come a point when, like what Ryan was saying, that is not going to be a healthy relationship. And so I would, in that romantic situation, I would highly recommend stepping away from the romance. You can still be friends. You can still whatever, like, but in order to be ready for a romantic situation, at least one, probably both people need to grow. Because if one person's willing to treat the other person that way, they need to grow. If the other person's willing to subject themselves to that treatment, they need to grow. Right? So I would say stop the romance and grow and learn how to truly love each other, right? So
I'm a great example I can give from my life is I remember there was this time where I said I love you to someone and they didn't say it back, and it hurt. And I realized at that moment the entire reason I've been saying I love you is to hear them say it back to me. Because I wanted their love. I wanted that relationship. I wanted that thing for myself, whether it be status or just knowing that someone loves me or whatever it was, right? I wanted to be loved. That's very different than loving someone. right? And so I needed to learn how to say I love you and not ever even want an I love you back. It's just that I'm saying it because I really mean it and I want them to experience that love.
Exactly.
I don't want a relationship where I feel like if they didn't say it back, I'd be like questioning, oh no, do they not love me anymore? Like if that's where I'm at, I need to back off. And I need to fix my brain so that I'm not so self-absorbed that I can't literally just say, hey, I love you for the sake of making them feel loved.
Right.
I require them to say it back.
Right.
So anyways,
Nope.
and I'm happy to state, I'm now in a relationship where it it's great. I don't have to question that at all. And I can just say I love you. And obviously they always say I love you back, but would not even cross my mind if they didn't. I was like, I'm only saying it because I want them to know and because I want them to feel loved.
Right.
And I don't care about anything else.
Right.
And
They don't
that's
have
a
to say it
lovely
back
place to be.
because you're from a
Yeah.
position of giving that love, right? And
Right.
that's what's important. You want them to make sure that they know and that they feel that you love them, right?
Right.
Now, what
Right.
happens if you
Absolutely.
tell someone I love you and they say I wish you wouldn't?
Get out.
Yeah. You heard it here, folks.
Ooh. Oh man, I'm so sorry, Joe. I love you, man.
And what happens if you're married to that person and they like, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, onwards and upwards. All right, let's I don't know. That's about all I had.
I think this is perfect.
We've
Thank
talked
you so
about
much,
this for a
Strawberry
while.
Paste. Sorry for taking so long to cover on that one. Sorry to everybody else who we didn't get to yet. But I hope you found it. Regardless, I hope you found that topic was insightful into your life. And my name. Thank you for sharing the information. Thanks for being open about yourself. We really appreciate that here. And yeah, that's awesome. Thank you. Also, Strawberry Paste, as always, feel free to, I guess this is a little bit late. No, it's not too late because the chat is saved. Anyways, Strawberry Paste, I know that you are not here on the stream right now, but when you watch this back later, feel free to check out the messages in the chat because they are worth reading. People have good things to say. They usually do, and you guys did this time as well. So Wolfrix, I know that you said you had to go. Ooh, okay. Sushi time. That sounds awesome.
Enjoy
We
streak.
have a topic. Yeah. Well,
We're
okay,
streaking.
Wolfrix, if thinks I hope you have awesome sushi. It's been a while since you last showed up, but yeah. Yeah, no, thank you so much for giving information. Yeah. That's really great. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely.
All right, well, how about we go on to this next one? It's going to be from Anonymous. I'm just going to write down that we answered this one.
Okay,
Okay.
we're doing the anonymous
The
one
last
next?
one. Yeah.
Okay.
Is that all right with you?
Sure. You're the host, man.
I
You
don't
pick.
see any. Awesome. Well, I don't see anyone else here that's on our list of topics. By the way, I forgot to mention, if you want to submit a topic, please go to don'tworrywednesday.com. We'd be happy to cover any topic, whatever it is, and don't feel ashamed. We're all humans, and we run into problems, all of us, and we're here to work through them together. We recognize, like, hey, we've all got things to be guilty of. And we've all got, things that we're not happy we have problems with.
Yes.
But don't be ashamed. That's why we're here. We're here to just kind of work through it and be a place where you can feel safe and supported. And we're just going to focus on getting through it. We've never in this program ever focused on hating on anyone, like pointing out how bad a person is. I guess. Yeah, we're just working on like, hey, what's the next step? How do we go through this? What's going on here mentally that we can figure out? So, yeah.
And
please go to don'tworrywednesday.com.
I put the link in the chat. You can click the link.
Thank you.
There it is. Yes.
All right. So this topic is from Anonymous. It's titled Ridiculous, Absurd even. And
am I putting this up? I'll put it on the screen just for fun.
You can put it on the
There it
screen.
is.
It says things you find absurd / ridiculous. So this one's probably a little bit of a fun one.
Mm-hmm. We can have fun for the next 23 minutes or so.
Yeah, which is why I'm glad that we're covering it here with the last little 20 minutes that we have, because that's great.
Mm-hmm.
It was anonymous. I have a suspicion it was Yozawa, but I don't know who it was. Whoever it was felt that the secrecy was important, that they don't reveal who would ask such a question about things that are ridiculous or absurd.
I find all kinds of things
So
ridiculous and absurd.
yeah, go on, go talk about it, Joe.
First thing is my face. I look at it every day when I wake up, and I look at it, and it's all tired, and it's all like,
That's ridiculous.
and I'm
or
like,
absurd.
oh my gosh, like, because, well, it's like I woke up from being dead, like, and like,
Yeah,
and it's all like,
essentially.
and I'm like, why do I have to look like that in the morning? Like after a while, the muscles kind of wake up, and I become me again, right? It's like,
Isn't that weird? That is a bit ridiculous. That is a bit ridiculous that it's designed into nature that when we wake up, we have sleepy face.
mm-hmm.
Like, do
It's
other
because
animals have that?
it's
Not
because
that I can
all of
tell.
our facial muscles relax and all this kind of stuff, right? It was just.
You sink in, yeah. The topic is ridiculous and absurd, and
I
it's
know,
great.
right?
Yeah, it's great.
But I find that ridiculous.
That's a good point. That is a bit ridiculous. I agree.
What?
I have two very serious things here.
The forbidden
topic
topics
for conversation. I'm most social
in most
environments.
social.
Oh, in most social.
Oh, politics and religion.
Oh,
You find politics and religion ridiculous? I do too, in a lot of cases. I find a lot of political leaders ridiculous, and I find a lot of religious leaders ridiculous, to be quite honest.
wait. I thought it was politics and pineapple pizza.
Oh, yes. Do not mention pineapple pizza in public or in good company.
Yeah. Yeah, in good company.
Actually, it's not all that bad,
people
man.
will attack you. No, I love it. I think it's one of my favorite
Pineapple
pizzas.
pizza is not too bad. Not too bad.
I can't have ham, so I can't have pineapple pizza anymore. But when I was young, I used to love it.
This would be great. We could do a whole series on things that are ridiculous and absurd.
Yeah.
That would make a great podcast.
Oh, yeah, that would be a podcast for sure.
Just
if it's not already.
about stuff that's just dumb that's out there. Like, what is that? Like, what is that about?
Yeah. I'm sure that's like,
it's
what really grinds my gears kind of topic. Kind of podcast, I mean.
I'm sure it is. That's interesting.
Kind of ridiculous.
So my name says cats and dogs do actually have that issue of like the sleepy face, wake up thing. I'm guessing that's the thing. I'm guessing it's not politics and religion that cats have and dogs have the issue of. I'm guessing it's the sleepy face. But yeah.
Well, that's why I said that. That's why I made the caveat. That's why at the end I said, well, that I know of. It's like I have not seen on other animals, but I could just be unable to see it because I'm not around animals enough to notice it.
Yeah, me neither.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes sense.
Yeah.
And not to be too morbid here, but it's interesting. Like they would even call that the death mask. That people, because and my brother being an EMT and a firefighter, he's like the assistant fire chief in his area, and he, and he is an EMT, and so he's gone and had to go find, like somebody calls and somebody collapsed, and they unfortunately passed away there, and he's like, and I knew this person, I'd seen him all the time, he did not look like him, Did not. And that's why, like that, yeah, it's pretty wild, but it's because of all those muscles just relax, right? And so you just you don't even look like you anymore. But yeah. A lot of times,
a lot of times it's fur.
Yeah. I've had fur before on my face, but I shaved it. Ryan's got some fur going on. Look at that.
Yeah.
Can't tell his bed face. 'Cause he's got...
Well, only in my chin region. And the rest of my face, you can tell pretty easily.
Outcats, why am I not surprised?
Uh-huh.
That you know so many absurd things.
Outcats, sometimes you can be a little bit ridiculous and absurd.
It's true. There's
I
this one
love that
thing
about
that I
you.
know. There's this Outcats person that's ridiculous and absurd.
Yeah, I think we can. I actually enjoy being ridiculous and absurd. It's actually fun. I enjoy being ridiculous and absurd.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What?
It's okay. And then you know my absurdities and my ridiculousness too, so there.
Who keeps stealing all your styles for fur and hairstyles? My name? Someone's stealing them.
What, your cats and dogs? Oh, man.
The cats and dogs steal your hairstyles?
I'd like to see...
Me?
Oh!
Well, that's not my fault. That's your fault.
Yes, Alfonso. Some things in culture are very absurd.
Oh, there's lots of things in culture that are absurd. Man.
Tell you what.
Oh, Alfonso, here's the issue. I think there are so many things that are absurd and ridiculous in culture. But saying any number of them would get us canceled. So I think it's better to not talk about those things, but I completely agree. There's a lot of absurd things.
There's a lot.
Including cancel culture.
Oh my gosh. Yes, we should all be absurd, right?
Yeah. I think being absurd is fun.
I thought you were talking about my hairstyle, my name. I was going to be like, you copying my hairstyle? Or did I copy yours?
Mm-hmm.
It's a choice. And it's a good choice. Just read the news. There's all kinds of ridiculous out there.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's for sure.
Oh, my gosh. You know what's interesting? You know what? I was like, here's the thing. Sleep itself is absurd to me. Like, when I meet God, I'm going to be like, dude, what the heck, man? Like, why? We're all like going, we're all going like all this great, like, why? We just got to like stop and lay there and do nothing and wake up with a weird looking face.
I felt great until I got tired.
Yeah.
And then I had to sleep. And then I woke up and I didn't feel so great.
Right.
And then I got moving and I felt great again. It was like, what was that about?
Yeah.
Every day.
And water. I drink it.
Yeah.
I pee it out. I drink it. I pee it out. I drink it. I pee it out. Like over and over again. Like what? Like you designed this whole deal.
Yeah.
Like what? What? Oh. Wait, you wish my hairstyle looks amazing? Oh. I wish your hairstyle looks amazing.
Oh, I wish. Period. Your hairstyle looks amazing.
Yeah. I gotcha. In the same vein as culture, people who don't get history, absurd. Yeah, but it's not necessarily their fault. A lot of people don't understand history because they haven't been taught it.
Yeah, I was going to say the main problem with history is that it's not taught. And if it is taught, it's taught in such a... It's like they teach history in such a way that you can't know history. At least when I was going through school, that was my experience. It wasn't until after school that I actually started learning history, because it was after school that I started to learn from people who knew how to teach history, rather than just like, this is when the printing press happened. Memorize this date. And that was significant.
The way history is taught, also absurd. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And Saule, you're so right. It's almost like life is absurd to us mere mortals. It is, right?
Yeah.
Like the giraffe.
Great.
What the heck?
The giraffe is an absurd and ridiculous animal, and I love it for that fact.
Right? I mean, it's cool, but like, seriously, what the heck, man?
Doesn't it have like a sponge in its neck so that it can drink?
Yeah, there's a special thing that or else its head would explode.
Or its head would explode. Yeah.
Yeah, there's like
From the
this
fresh.
special
Yeah,
apparatus
it's
because its
amazing.
neck is so long. If it bends down to get a drink, if it didn't have this sponge thing to like hold the blood back, its head would explode. The
What
elephant.
on earth? What on earth? How does?
The
Okay,
platypus. Oh, I like that,
platypus. Yeah.
Myung voiceover line from a marching band show. There's a gap between perception and reality. That can seem kind of scary. Don't be afraid. Embrace the absurdity. Mm.
Hmm. Yeah.
Giraffe
I like.
you if you care.
I like
Cats,
giraffes.
you know I care. I don't need to giraffe you. Sharks are funky. Platypus. What's the plural of platypus?
Isn't
Platypi?
it platypi? I believe it's
Or is
platypi.
it just platypus? Because sometimes it's not platypuses. I used to do that when I worked
Maybe
at the
it's like
car wash. I used to
platypussy.
ask people. I'd be like, I'd have this. Well, I always held a stack of little coupons, like $2 off car wash thing, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And anytime someone drove up in a Lexus, I'd be like, "Hey, I got a $2 off coupon in there. If you can properly tell me the plural form of Lexus."
Oh, Lexuses. Lexi.
Lexi
Lexis.
was the most common one, but no matter what they said, I'd still give them the coupon, right? Because it was just a joke and to be fun, right?
That's great. That's great.
Yep. Ah, the blue screen of death is
Yeah.
absurd. Computers can be absurd.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny. It's so funny, like teaching my kids about computers and stuff because, like, most of the time, a computer boots up, and it takes a little bit of time to boot up,
Mm-hmm.
and stuff's got to process. Da, 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 da. It takes like a few seconds, and then
Mm-hmm.
my kids will be like, "Dad, it's not working," and they'll just start hitting stuff, like, and I'm like,
Oh
"No,
gosh.
it's booting." Like you just. And then, like, it finally boots up and everything, and then they're like, "Oh, this stuff just keeps opening randomly. Why is it doing that?" It's because you hit so many stinking buttons.
Wow. Wow. That's funny.
It's like, dude, oh man, I'm sorry, but it's funny.
Oh my gosh. Wow. That brought me back to when I was a kid. Yeah.
Yeah, it's not working. It's not working. Well, let me tell you, clicking everywhere isn't helping.
That's true. You're just making the computer have to think more.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. So there's an answer. It's the plural is platypuses. Platypi is used, just less commonly. Um, yeah. Okay.
The blobfish,
Vampire squid.
the vampire squid. Oh my gosh.
It's neither a vampire nor a squid. Yeah,
What?
right?
What?
Isn't that weird? That's completely
I didn't
absurd.
even know
I
that's a
mean,
thing that even.
if we're talking about naming things and words, I have so much to say.
Oh my
Okay,
gosh.
like the
Oh my gosh.
French. The French, just please get out of my language. First of all, we don't
Hey,
need to be
hey,
spelling.
are you Frenchist? Don't be
I'm not
Frenchist.
Frenchist. Frenchist. I think French is great, and it needs to stay where it belongs. I don't think we need French to come over and be like, "You guys spell color weird. Let's put a U in it." And then all of Europe says, "Yeah, let's put a U in the word color." And America's like, "Nah, we're just gonna keep the U out of it, thanks." And now you Europeans spell color and favorite and all these weird words with U's where they don't belong. And then there's all the spellings of everything else in the English language that doesn't work. Oh my gosh, there's
Like
so
everything with
much.
a silent GH.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right?
Just put
Right?
F,
RIGHT. It should be. They had it
right?
right when they came up with Rite Aid because it's RITE.
Mm-hmm. Right. Correct.
Yes.
There's so much in English language. Oh my gosh.
Oh, you spell color with a U and you're American and it's weird? Wait.
Yeah, why did you do that? That's weird.
I always spell it with a
Proud Frenchist. I'm a proud Frenchist.
but French dressing is good, which isn't French, probably. It just got the name.
That's a good question. Is
It's
Russian dressing Russian
probably
or
not.
not? Probably not.
If it was craft brand, it probably isn't French. It's probably made in America.
Oh, well, for sure. I
So it's
think all of
American.
the dressings are made in America that we're getting from America, generally speaking.
Yeah.
I've never gotten a ranch bottle and said something like made in China.
You know what's absurd to me? There's
Hmm.
like the number one ice cream shop in the United States back in whatever year, 2008 maybe, when I lived up
Okay.
there, was in Traverse City, Michigan. They won this Good Morning America. They had the best ice cream in the United States. Right?
Wow.
Moomers in Traverse City. I'm sure it's still there. I'm sure it's still amazing. And I'm sure that it's still, the ice cream parlor is right there at the farm. So it smells like cow poop while you eat your ice cream.
Oh. Oh.
You get the whole experience. The
Maybe
dairy
that's why
farm
it's so good.
experience, and the ice. Oh,
I bet you that's part of why it tastes good.
because
Because it
of the
helps
contrast.
offset. Yeah, because of the contrast. They're like, this is the best dang ice cream I've ever had. Well, you're also sitting in an environment that smells rank.
Uh,
So about anything you put in your mouth right now is going to taste pretty darn good. Like all the other particles in your mouth that are going in are such deep contrast to the ice cream. Of course, the ice cream is going to taste amazing.
Yes. It was really good ice cream. It's
Yeah, I
quite an
bet it is.
experience. But always the line was like so super duper long. Super duper long. Like you'd stand there in line
Yeah.
smelling the cow farm forever and then like you get in
Oh,
there.
yeah. Dairy
Dairy
farm
farm
ice
ice
cream is
cream.
pretty good, just down on the farm. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It is. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean
When I
they
lived out in
get the
Colorado.
milk right
Yeah.
there and do the stuff and yeah, it's great.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When I lived out in Colorado, we had these huge cow farms,
Mhm.
and they did a lot of cow murder there, butchering.
Mhm.
But you at nighttime, you could smell the cows for miles and miles and miles and miles. It was like I think it was close to 100 miles, maybe even up to 200 miles. You could smell the cow because it was that dense.
Mm.
Like they just like if you traveled through it, it took you like I can't remember. You travel the road and I think you're on this road for like 20 minutes or something and it's just cows and cows and cows. You can't even see the end of it when you look like out and you're driving and it's just cows for like 20
Mhm.
minutes straight going like 55 and you're just like there it's insane how many cows there were. And yeah, you could smell it for really far out, especially at
Mhm.
nighttime. It was really interesting because in our town, it's like, oh, it's nighttime. You can smell it in the air.
Mhm.
You don't even have to look at the sun.
Yeah. You know what's interesting though? Like everything that we eat came from something that was already living. So like there was an energy. I don't think this is absurd. I just find it interesting about like the
Utterly
fact
ridiculous.
of like life and nature and all that kind of stuff. Talking about murdering the moo-moos. Well, how do you think you get a cheeseburger?
Oh, yeah, of
You
course.
milk the cow and then you kill it, right? You get some
Yeah.
cheese and you get some beef and you have a cheeseburger. You know,
And
whatever.
the cow eats living grass
Mm-hmm. Yep.
and bugs
Everything.
sometimes.
Yep. So plant or animal, we have to, everything that we eat was once alive.
Hmm.
And sometimes maybe it still is.
You know what? You know what? Worms are the good ones.
To eat?
If we're talking about like, oh, it's cruel that animals eat other animals, or that it's cruel that these animals eat these plants because the plants are alive too. We got to take everything that's living into consideration. We got to mark cruelty on a list. Like, what's the most cruel animal, eating all these different things? The worm wins because the worm literally eats the dirt and the dirt is not alive.
But there are microbes in the dirt.
It was once alive, but it's decayed matter that was decayed through the process of it aging and falling off and leaves turning into.
Mm-hmm.
So you could have a worm that had to kill nothing or hurt nothing in order for it to live.
That's true. And then we put them
That's the
on
only
fish
thing.
hooks, and then we catch fish.
Mm-hmm.
And then half the
Yeah.
time we don't even eat the fish. We throw them back, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're senselessly killing these worms
Yeah.
to catch fish
Poor
and throw
worms.
them back in the water.
Worms are the hero of the animal kingdom.
The
They're
heroes,
like
man.
the true vegan. Yeah.
But hell is the place where the worm never dies.
That's right, where the worms crawl. Yeah, that's true. And they infest your body.
Oh, that's accurate.
Steak. Disgusting.
Well, of course.
The worms can kill the plants. Yeah, that's true. Some worms can be good, some worms can be bad. Yeah, that's fair.
If any of you, cats, if you were a worm, of course I'd still love you. If any of you guys
Yeah.
were worms, I'd still love you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I love worms. It doesn't stop me from putting you on a fish hook and catching fish.
Look, my love does not stop me. Like, I love you so much, but my love is so deep, it does not stop me or prevent me from literally killing you. Joe, I think there's
Sorry.
your love is strange.
Strange.
Perhaps it's ridiculous and absurd even.
Yes. Love is ridiculous and absurd. Oh my gosh. Isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I think life is put together by a lot of ridiculous and absurd things.
There's so many questions,
It's true,
so many
Alfonso.
times when I meet God, so much I'm going to say WTF, mate.
WTF, mate? What was this all about?
Dude,
Everything.
love. What is that? Like, seriously.
It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. It's great.
That's great. But what is that?
Yeah, you're right. That's right. That's true. Well, love is God and God is love. So to understand it would mean you fully grasp something that's far outside your reaches of humanity. I think you kind of just be like, yeah, what is it? That's fine to be asking it. But I don't think you can be like, take it away. Yeah. What the flip?
You want to know what else is absurd?
Yeah.
Most of the self-development industry, to be quite honest. Sorry.
Well, yeah, I think there's a lot to be said about that. Some of it's great.
There is good stuff
great.
in there. There's nuggets. There's stuff that's in there that's nuggets, but you also got to be discerning in your
yeah, there's a lot of discernment that needs to happen.
And it helps to have some people guiding you. Some people that are, that you can trust. For sure. Wait, what catches rockets falling from space? A robot boat. Of course, I Still Love You is a robot boat that catches rockets falling from space? What?
Is that somebody named a robot boat? Quote, "Of course, I still love you." End quote. Is that what you're saying? That is absurd. But I love
it. That's crazy.
I think I like absurd things, just as long as they're not destructive.
Well, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not
I guess
hurtful.
humor,
Or
oftentimes.
not.
Yeah.
Humor can be really absurd, and it can also be hurtful.
True.
Humor at the expense of another person. Okay.
Oh, that's
SpaceX
amazing.
named a robotic boat. Of course, I Still Love You. That's great.
And its whole purpose is to get
to catch the rockets
that fall from space. Okay, that's perfect.
Now, does it actually catch them, or does it just like go around and like pick them up after they fall in the water? Or is it like, going like, hey, it's coming. We gotta catch it. Catch it before it touches the water. Here I am running on the water. They land on the boat.
Oh, that's impressive. SpaceX, way to go.
Good job, guys.
Dang, that's cool.
You did a good one. Ooh, Shakespeare is absurd and ridiculous. Yes.
Yeah.
There is some ridiculous in Shakespeare. Comedy is absurd. Yeah. And the fact that a comedy, was it you who was describing that a comedy had to have people dying in it?
No, like that's the opposite. Comedy and tragedy. Comedy ends in a wedding. Tragedy ends with everybody dead on the floor.
Comedy ends in a wedding. Mm-hmm. That's laughable.
Those are they're two theatrical playwriting styles. Comedy is the play ends in a wedding, and tragedy is the play ends with everybody dead on the floor.
Everybody dead on the floor. The final scene. Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a traditional sense of the words used in play format or in a book. And so the Bible is a comedy because it ends in a wedding. But our lives are a tragedy because we all
because everybody dies on the floor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Interesting. Oh, here we go. Never fully there. Just a lifetime of fractured moments, contradictions, and confusion, with only a few specks of time where anything actually makes any sense. I can see that. Mm-hmm. See, now we got
read the instructions and a short fall of gravitas. Oh, I see.
As long as it's not a Walmart floor, we're going to end up dead on a Walmart floor? I hope not. Actually, I mean, it's just as good a floor as any, right?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I guess if you're dead, what does it matter?
Yeah.
What floor you're on.
Right. Yeah, it's going to be okay.
I mean, I'm just as comfortable as any other kind of floor.
Right.
I mean, you put me on a sofa, I won't know the difference.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a reference to something?
Potatoes and gravity. Potatoes are absurd, but they're so good. What's your favorite kind of potato? What's your favorite way of potatoes being prepared, Ryan?
That's really hard because I like potatoes in a lot of different ways.
Mm-hmm. They're so good. Yeah. French fries with squeezed cheese. Baked potatoes with squeezed cheese.
With squeezed cheese.
Scalloped potatoes with squeezed cheese. Tater tots with squeezed cheese.
Squeezed cheese.
Potato chips.
Yeah, you're right.
With squeezed cheese.
Yeah, you're right. Tots. You're right.
The tater tots are fantastic. Oh, man.
Raw, uncooked potato with squeezed cheese.
Now, a raw, uncooked potato tastes much different than a cooked potato.
Completely. Yeah.
Have you ever taken a bite out of a raw potato?
A raw potato tastes a little bit like a water chestnut.
It tastes a little bit like dirt.
Or maybe it tastes like dirt.
Yeah.
For sure.
And how do I know what dirt tastes like? Because I've eaten dirt.
I'm just going to say it. I've eaten dirt.
I've eaten dirt
before. Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say it. I'm not a worm, but I could be.
Because I ate dirt.
Could be one.
I eat dirt. It was so good, man. My brother, when he was like 3 years old, like my parents have a garden, right? And like they grew onions. And like when he was 3 years old, he just grabbed an onion out of the dirt in the garden, dirt and all, and just started eating it. And they're like, what are you doing? He's like, I'm eating lunch. And he just kept eating this onion with dirt all over it, right?
No. Oh, and dirt is, oh no. By the way, a lot of gardens have like
fertilizers
peat in it, which is poop from animals, various animals. Yeah.
Yep. Yuck. That's what I mean. Onions in and of themselves are gross, right? Covered in fertilized dirt, even grosser.
Mianglios, I love that. If you combined baked and mashed potatoes, it could become mashed potatoes or bashed
Or
potatoes.
is that baked potatoes? Like maked. Like I
Yeah,
maked them.
maked. Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Maked potatoes. Yeah,
uh,
maked potatoes or bashed potatoes.
mm-hmm.
Carrots are
Carrots.
still alive even when you're digesting it. Whoa. Who eats onions covered in
Alfonso, my
manure?
brother. It was covered in dirt, but hey,
He
there's
was
like
3, right?
he was 3, and I don't know what they use for fertilizer. They've had all kinds of natural fertilizer solutions
Mm-hmm.
for the
Yeah.
garden.
Yeah.
Right?
I
So,
don't expect your family to be the one, yeah, ones to be spraying.
and I hear
Well,
that
that's a great note
broccoli.
to end the show on.
I heard that broccoli has a nervous system, like so it can feel it
Interesting.
when you eat it,
Hmm.
but fish can't. Because the Nirvana song, it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings. So
Oh,
if it was in a
well,
Nirvana song, it must be
it's a
true,
good thing
right?
that song came around. Yeah, because before then they did. So thanks, Nirvana. Thanks for solving that for us. If you can speak anything else into reality, that'd be great. You chose that one. All right, great.
Oh man.
Bruh.
What
What
made the
made
broccoli
broccoli
nervous?
nervous?
Well, I don't know. What
Yeah,
is this a joke? Is this a
nervous
dad
system.
joke? Dad?
I don't think this is a dad joke. I think they were, yeah.
Or are they just wondering?
I think they're just wondering. Maybe they've got a joke. They got a joke lined up.
Oh, you're asking.
I
Okay.
don't know. I'm asking. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah.
It sounded
Awesome.
like a joke was coming.
Yeah. Right.
What made the broccoli nervous? What?
Yeah. I don't think you take advice from them. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It is nervous. You're about to eat it. Wouldn't you be nervous?
Oh, I hope they like me.
You got to
I'm
cover it in
nervous here.
squeezed cheese. Oh, now I'm covered in squeezed cheese. You know, somebody's gonna eat me. Like,
Oh gosh. Yeah. Well, if that's how that works, then I will be staying clear of squeezed cheese. I don't want something to eat me.
oh yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Right. Fair enough. That's fair, Alfonso. That's great.
Yep. Interesting.
Nice.
Yeah. And I'll take
Well,
advice
thank you
from
for the topic,
Nirvana.
Anonymous.
I'll take
That's
it
a
and I'll
fun topic.
put it somewhere. Yes.
Yeah. Anonymous, whoever you are, great job coming up with a fun topic to end the stream on. And we appreciate everybody who has been here for the stream, who's stuck around with us and been patient with our tangents and joined in on finding things that are ridiculous and or absurd.
That was fun.
That was fun. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. It was joyful. Well, we hope that you have an awesome rest of your week. If you have any topics, please submit them to don'tworrywednesday.com. And we'd be happy to take them. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for being here. We love you guys. All of you.
Yes, we do. And we'll see you next week. So come back. And did you say go to don'tworrywednesday.com?
Yes, I did.
All
guys,
right.
go to don'tworrywednesday.com. Press the submit a topic button.
Do it.
Try it out.
Try
Just
it out.
for fun.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you know what? If you have something ridiculous and absurd that you
Something
want to talk
rant
with us about the chat, absolutely.
Yeah.
Or you know what?
We take rants.
We've had other people on the show before. We might figure, hey, do you guys like that? Did you guys like that when we did that? Should we do more of that?
Yeah.
There's more of you on the show now in the chat than we had last time we asked this question. Like I think we asked it before, but there weren't very many people.
Yeah, there was just like 3 people responded.
Yeah. So did you guys like that? Okay, J-Ho says yee. Kawhi says fire, which I'm guessing means absolutely yes.
Yeah, it was fire. Yeah, no, we would love to have you guys more on the show. we would
Mm-hmm.
like to kind of put it into the format or something like that. Find ways to do it that would work best. So if you guys have any suggestions of how to implement it in the best way possible or in better ways than we did,
Mm-hmm.
please let us know. Yeah. Let
Yeah.
me in.
Yeah, absolutely. We did it
We're
with a
here, yeah.
Discord call. We do this with a Discord call actually.
Hmm.
But well,
Yeah.
we would probably need to figure out, like a screen arrangement, because we'd like to have, like, and it'd be weird because, well, a lot would fall on the producer's shoulders on putting some of this stuff together. But Ryan created all the artwork and all that stuff, and to figure out kind of like how to have our space set up, you know,
Hmm.
for the whole community that's there. It was just really cool. We tried a few different things, and maybe it's just trying it a bunch and seeing what works and whatnot. But yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, thank
All
you,
right, you
man.
guys like
Yeah,
it?
that's what I was thinking too. I
Yeah.
think a little bit of both.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I think it'd be a lot of fun in the future too. I think, yeah,
Hmm.
we got a lot. We had a lot of good come out of it too. We had a lot of new perspectives that was really awesome. You guys are so dang
Yeah,
smart, like seriously,
yeah.
and you're helpful and you have great hearts. And we,
Hmm.
I don't know, I don't know how it went when Ryan was on there with you guys, but I know in my experience, I really had a great time with you guys. So,
Yeah, that was it was great. They did a great job.
mm-hmm. Yep.
Hmm. For sure.
Oh,
Cool.
we can drag people in and stuff. Big brain. Who's big brain? You're big brain.
Yeah. If you guys have any specifics, like I have an idea of how it could run down, please feel free to send us messages on Discord.
Yep.
Um,
Absolutely. Absolutely. I
that could
am
be
at
helpful.
plebnub,
I am at
and
Static P. Just
Ryan's at
no
static
hyphen.
p with no hyphen. Yep. So just shoot us a message on Discord. Most of you guys have us on your Discord anyway. So yeah, just get a hold of us. Let us know if you have any thoughts or ideas. But yeah, that's definitely something we'd like to implement because it was really good. But anyway, all right, now do the outro.
Oh, bye guys.
See you later.
See ya.
Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.
Bye.
Enjoy your